So as you guys know, in this webinar, we are going to be covering how you can go about building a WhatsApp bot in the TARS builder. So what are all the steps you need to go through to get a WhatsApp bot? And actually, as you'll find out in a couple of slides, we'll be covering a lot more than that. We're going to give you the full rundown of everything you need to know about WhatsApp chatbots to get started on the TARS builder and get your business onto WhatsApp. But as always, we like to begin our webinars with intros, especially because we have a first-time host with us this time around. So really quick, if you guys have been attending our webinars before, I am Arnav. I'm a marketer over here at TARS. And with me today, we have Ish, who is the CEO and co-founder.
Hi everyone. Yeah, this is Ish, and I think this is the first time I'm on the webinar.
Yep.
We've done quite a few webinars in the past, almost 15, 16 webinars over the last 3-4 months, and this is the first time doing this. Really excited because WhatsApp chatbot is something we've been hearing for a while from all the customers, existing customers, new ones as well, about when we are releasing the WhatsApp chatbot integration. So I'm really excited. We'll go through the in one of the slides we'll be showcasing what all we are going to cover over the next 30-40 minutes. We're going to keep it less of us speaking, and then we'll be keeping good enough time, 20 odd minutes for Q&A, because I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of questions, or in general, we can have a discussion, open-ended discussion about what you guys would be looking for as well, because we want to make it like a like a conversation where you actually share, because the way we built it is based on our customer interactions, but we would love to understand what more you guys might be looking at. So yeah.
So really quick, before we jump into the webinar, so you guys know where our experience is coming from and where all the knowledge in this webinar is coming from. A lot of you guys will already be familiar with this because we can see a lot of familiar faces over here, but we have been around in the conversational technology space for the last 4 years about. And we've primarily helped marketers and marketing teams and customer experience teams boost their user engagement. So whether that's to improve their customer support, whether that's to boost their lead gen outcomes, whether that's to improve the efficiency of their marketing campaigns, we help them do that. We help them achieve those outcomes using conversational tech like chatbots.
Right. I mean, yeah, so primarily the focus has been on marketing and customer experience teams, helping them with chatbots across the board, across different use cases and industries. I think just to give you a sense of the scale that we operate at, there'll be almost about 35,000, 40,000 chatbots running on our platform right now. So when we say something during the next 1 hour, it comes from an experience of almost 4 years. 4 years for me, 4 years for you, Arnav, as well, yep. Right? That we've been working in the conversational technology, the entire conversational AI space. And yeah, I mean, I think we just wanted to set some context before we
right.
get into things. Yeah.
Right. Now to get into the actual meat of the webinar, what are we going to cover today? Because there is a lot. As you can see, we had a lot of debates before this webinar about the font size in this, but we had to compromise and make it a little bit smaller because there's just so much we have to cover in this session. So essentially the way we are thinking through this session is we want to give you the full rundown about WhatsApp chatbots. So you have everything you need to know after you leave this webinar to get started with your journey on WhatsApp. Now, the first thing that we have to cover before we can jump into the actual chatbots is the context around WhatsApp chatbots. So that means telling you guys why your business should be on WhatsApp. So what the appeal is, why you should go through the effort of getting a WhatsApp chatbot, because as you'll see in this webinar, it does take a little bit of effort. Then we're going to go into a little bit of the technical details associated with getting a WhatsApp chatbot up and running. So there are a couple of terms that you need to know, specifically what a WhatsApp business number is and what a WhatsApp chatbot is and how they differ from each other. And then really quickly, we're going to give you our take on the way we frame WhatsApp chatbots in our mind. So when we think about what a WhatsApp chatbot is, what is it that we are thinking about and how does that fit into the context of your business? Now, after that, we're going to be delving into basically the use cases that you can use WhatsApp chatbots in. There's a lot of buzz around WhatsApp chatbots in the chatbot community, in the customer experience community, in the marketing community. But often in that buzz, what gets lost is what you're actually going to use a WhatsApp chatbot for. People always want a WhatsApp chatbot, but why do you want that WhatsApp chatbot? So that's what we're going to cover in the fourth section. And then finally, I think the most important section of the entire webinar, we're going to tell you guys exactly how you can get started building a WhatsApp chatbot in the fifth part of this webinar, where we'll talk you through all the steps you need to go through and actually show you a WhatsApp chatbot that was built on the TARS builder to give you guys a sense of what it looks like. And then to close out right before the questions, we are going to tell you guys how you can get people to your WhatsApp chatbot. This is a completely new medium we're talking about over here. All of your traditional channels, or some of your traditional channels, will still work, but it's still worth discussing what channels you can use to bring people to your WhatsApp chatbot, just like you do with your landing pages and your websites.
So just to add to what Arnav said, I think the people here, all of you guys who we have on the webinar here, you might be in a different journey in terms of just your understanding as to how chatbots work, how does the WhatsApp ecosystem works. You might have played around with our TARS chatbot platform before, you might have not, right? So we're just considering almost every possible uh, stage of where you might be. So some of this might seem redundant to you. So just to give you a sense of the time, we're going to spend about 15-20 minutes discussing the first 4 pointers. We're going to run them through quickly. We just want to set some context as to why WhatsApp is important. Giving like someone who's totally new to the bot space, totally new to the WhatsApp chatbot space, we're going to set or give them an idea of what it really means and how they could be using it as well. And then we're going to jump and spend about 20 odd minutes discussing how you can actually do that inside the TARS chatbot platform, right? So for some of you, this might seem a little bit redundant, but just hang out there. But because I think this would be information for you as well. But yeah, I mean that's how we are going to cover the next 30 or 40 minutes. Yes.
So jumping right in, we can get started with the first question, which is why your business should be on WhatsApp. Now, a lot of you guys already probably know this, and if you signed up for this webinar, you already probably know why you should be on WhatsApp. But just to get us in the mood for getting into a WhatsApp chatbot webinar, I think it's worthwhile to discuss this a little bit. So as long as I can remember, in the chatbot community at the very least, everyone has been waiting for WhatsApp chatbots. Everyone thinks that WhatsApp chatbots are going to be the linchpin in the chatbot space, and understandably so. WhatsApp is where all of the users are. If you think about your own personal usage, I mean, you can look at the stats that we have open on our screen, on your screen right now. They're pretty staggering. 1.6 billion active users, a 98% instant message open rate, and the most downloaded app in the messaging app in the world. But you don't even need to look at these stats. You can just think about how much you use WhatsApp every single day, how much your families and how much your friends use WhatsApp every single day. That gives you an insight into how much user attention, how much customer attention is going to WhatsApp. And it's that customer attention, this amount of attention that they are investing into this platform, that you are trying to tap into with a WhatsApp chatbot.
I mean, we don't need to really explain people why WhatsApp is important. Like all the other channels, let's discuss. I think we can discuss a bit about the evolution of the WhatsApp for business per se as well. Like the initially they started with a WhatsApp business number, and then they opened up the API. So still the business to user interaction is very nascent, I would say, as long as the WhatsApp ecosystem is concerned. So it's still very early days for it, and they've been a little slow, which is a good thing, I feel, compared to the Facebook Messenger ecosystem, because the Facebook Messenger ecosystem, if you remember back in 2016, those guys had just opened it up for developers, and you know how spammy it became after a point of time, right? So there's still, yes, there are a lot of users, but still I think WhatsApp considers uh, user to user communication or person to person communication. They understand it really well. So now business to user communication is happening through WhatsApp, but they've been really slow and careful about how all of this is happening.
Right. Right. That's a really key point to note. I remember when we first got into the chatbot game in 2016, everyone was all aboard the Facebook hype train. Everyone wanted a Facebook Messenger chatbot, and everyone heralded it as the next big app platform like the Play Store or the App Store. But if you look around today in 2020, not many people are actually using Facebook chatbots. So I think Facebook as a company has learned from that experience. And as you'll see in this webinar, when we get to the how section, they're taking a very measured approach at that. So to discuss what the terminology in this space is, because there is a lot of terminology, there are a lot of layers that you need to get through before you can actually build a WhatsApp chatbot. We're going to tell you the difference between a WhatsApp business number and the WhatsApp business API or the WhatsApp chatbot API, because these are two key terms that you need to know before you can build a WhatsApp chatbot. And you've probably heard about these terms before, at least the WhatsApp business numbers. Now, the way these two terms work with each other, the way they differ from each other, is basically on four parameters. First, it differs in access. WhatsApp business numbers are accessed through the WhatsApp business app. You might have heard of the WhatsApp business app before. You can download the WhatsApp business app. You can apply for a number over there. The verification, the last point over here, is pretty light, but you can get a WhatsApp business number through the WhatsApp business app. For the WhatsApp chatbot API, you are going to have to apply through a third-party API provider, and we'll get into what exactly that means. Perhaps the most important difference between these two approaches to getting your business onto WhatsApp is that the WhatsApp business number and the WhatsApp chatbot API interact with your customers in a very different way. With a WhatsApp business number, you are going to be manually sitting on your phone and responding to people on WhatsApp, responding to the queries that they send to your WhatsApp business number. With a WhatsApp chatbot API, on the other hand, you are going to be sending them automated responses. And if you work at even a moderately sized company, you'll understand the importance of that, because there are a lot of people on WhatsApp, like we showed you on the previous slide. So even if you get a few dozen of them sending you messages on a daily basis, it becomes hard to keep up with that. It becomes hard to keep up with that, and it becomes hard to respond to them in a prompt manner, and it diminishes the customer experience if you can't respond to them manually. So that's where the WhatsApp chatbot API comes in. It allows you to automatically respond to them through the use of a chatbot. Now, related to that additional value, there is also a difference in pricing. The WhatsApp business number is actually free to use. You can download the app and actually apply for a WhatsApp business number through the WhatsApp business app and use it for free. But with the WhatsApp chatbot API, you actually do have to pay based on the number of messages you send. That is the way that WhatsApp has structured it. And I touched upon this a little bit earlier. The final difference between the two of these methods of getting onto WhatsApp is the verification. Since WhatsApp business numbers are more accessible to people, the reason WhatsApp business numbers rather are more accessible to people is because they require very light verification. WhatsApp trusts that if you are manually responding to people, you are going to not mess around a lot. And as we mentioned earlier, they're concerned about the chat. We think that they're concerned about the chatbot platform because of their experience with Facebook Messenger. So they want to do a more thorough job of figuring out who is getting onto the WhatsApp chatbot platform and what they're using it for. So you need to go through a more thorough vetting process to actually get access to the WhatsApp chatbot API. Now, another key point to note about these two terms is that you actually first need a WhatsApp business number to get a WhatsApp chatbot API access. So the way it works is you get a WhatsApp business number, you go through this light verification process that they have. You can respond to people manually through your WhatsApp business number on your WhatsApp account and use it for free. And when you have that verification, you can upgrade that, or you can apply for a WhatsApp chatbot API access, which requires that extra layer of verification and extra pricing. But we'll get into that later in this webinar.
Right. So just to, I think, Arnav, I think it would be good to just like we obviously discussed about the technicalities as to what a WhatsApp business number versus a business API is. Like for you guys, I think it would be just good to know what these things mean. You don't really have to be too concerned about how it works, because for essentially for a chatbot to run, you would essentially need a business API, and we're pretty much talking about WhatsApp chatbots in here. So you would definitely need a business API. From a business context, think of it, when would you really need a WhatsApp chatbot, right? And when you are okay with a WhatsApp business number. So I would say if you're a small business and you get only if you're acquiring a very small number of customers, or if you're servicing a very small number of customers, going through the pain of WhatsApp business API and making the entire chatbot might not be something that you really need. right? You might be just okay having a WhatsApp business number where you can define some templates, which are automated templates to uh, the user responses. Like if I say something, you could have pre-defined templates within the WhatsApp business app itself. But if you want a programmatic access to that conversation, basically that um, it could be either an inbound from the user, or if you want to send any kind of notifications or transactional notifications, like for instance, if you're booking a ticket on, say, any booking website, say Make My Trip or all of these websites, they send you a notification on WhatsApp. So even that is that's not a chatbot, but that's a programmatic access on a WhatsApp number, right? WhatsApp chatbot is basically the things we would be talking about primarily is going to be a user initiated conversation where a customer comes on your WhatsApp, says hi, but then the post that the entire conversation would be totally automated, right? So just in very simple layman language, what is the difference between a business number and an API?
Right. And really quick to build on top of what Ish was saying, you can sort of understand why they want that extra verification, the automated response, because you can respond to people in an automated way because you have this capability. It's a power that they're giving you, and they want to basically make sure that you're going to use that access
Right.
responsibly.
Okay. Let's jump into quickly
Yep.
into what.
Yep. So really quick, before we can actually jump into what a WhatsApp chatbot is, it's worthwhile recapping what actually a chatbot is in general. And the dictionary definition of the term chatbot is it's a computer program designed to simulate a conversation with human users to facilitate a trade of information or services. Now, in simple English, this just basically means it's a piece of software that talks to people over a chat interface. Now, what a WhatsApp chatbot is in particular is if you take this basic concept of having a piece of software talk to a human being over the internet through a chat interface to give them some information about your product or to provide them with a service. If you take that and you put it onto WhatsApp, that is what a WhatsApp chatbot is. Yep. So that's essentially what a WhatsApp chatbot is. You can think about a WhatsApp chatbot basically as people come to your WhatsApp account, they send you a message on that account, and instead of that message going to your inbox like it would if you had a personal number, if you have it hooked up to the WhatsApp chatbot API, that message gets sent to a piece of software built somewhere, ideally on the TARS platform. And that software decides how it's going to respond to that number for a bunch of different purposes. And we'll get into what exactly those purposes are in the next section.
Yep. So I think I'm going to be talking about the different use cases that. So I spend a lot of my time speaking with customers. Been doing that for the last 4 years now. So must have spoken to almost 2,000, 3,000 of you out there, done those demos and everything, right? And a lot of use cases that are happening in the web-based chatbot world are sort of being like have to be there on the WhatsApp chatbot, space as well, because the only difference, pretty much the primary difference is the difference in the channel. The channel being you were using web-based bots which were working inside your browser to now this thing being working inside your WhatsApp interface, right? Going to talk about 4 or 5 different use cases. This stretches across industries. It is not very industry specific, and there might be more. There are going to be a lot more use cases that you could do with WhatsApp chatbots. I'm going to talk about something like the generic use cases out there, and generic use cases which you must be able to connect with. But if you have specific use cases that you want to discuss, I'll be sharing a link to booking a demo. Post the entire webinar is done, I'll share a demo link with you, and you can just schedule a demo with our team, and we can run through what use case you have in mind and talk about how you can get onto WhatsApp with that, right? Now, Arnav just told what a WhatsApp chatbot is, and this section is going to talk about, okay, you have a WhatsApp chatbot to achieve what, right? So to achieve what is essentially the use case that we are going to focus on. So these are 5 different WhatsApp chatbot plays. Starting off with the first one is something that all of us know, right? When you hear the word chatbot, it's the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is automating customer support, automating customer service, right? Especially at scale. If you've got a 1,000 people, 2,000 people, or even 100 people coming on your, on your support request, maybe emails, maybe call centers, maybe a live chat, right? You would be already thinking about, can I, especially in the world we are right now, there's uh, a lot of customers are reaching out to the businesses they interact with using virtual channels, and also the number of people or the resources or the manpower on the business side is low, right? So all of us are trying to figure out how can we automate customer support at this point of time. And this is where WhatsApp chatbots come in really handy, right? So the traditional ways have been call centers, live chats, email support, what else? That those are primarily the ones, right? Or you could possibly have a ticketing system which is pretty much similar to the email support, right? Those have been the primary channels of support till now. These are um, the pro or the easy part or the good part about having a human support. It's very easy, like you can really have a conversation with it, but it can, like, and on the business side it gets expensive to have all of those human support, and that's why people have been trying to somehow automate, like do partial automation on top of it, right? So from a business perspective, from a user perspective, it's easy, they can jump on a call with someone. But from a business perspective, for you guys, especially, we're talking from a business perspective a lot, right? It becomes really expensive to manage and keeps, like, if you have 2,000 people uh, placing a request right now, coming for support right now, and it scales to 50,000. Would you scale up your customer support team by 25x? Right? You wouldn't. You would want to figure out, okay, what can you really automate? The other way how support is usually done on our website, like open up any website, is you would have these customer support or FAQ pages, right? Even on our website or our platform, you would see a help section where we do have these FAQ pages, and these are uh, these are not bad if you do it the right way. They are definitely cheap to maintain, but obviously there's a lot of reading involved, and then you have to really figure out, okay, is like you have to really read through everything and figure out if this is the right answer for that or not, right? Come WhatsApp, and these conversations are easy. They're cheap because they're totally automated. So obviously there's a cost to running the software, but it's not going to be as expensive as hiring a customer support team. Secondly, it scales really well. Like you have 2,000 queries or you have 50,000 people coming on the chatbot on a daily basis. It doesn't really matter. It could be 24/7. So I don't really have to go into the details of why chatbots. You guys already know. Like if you're coming on this webinar, I guess you would already know all of this. It's just sort of reiterating the same fact again as to why WhatsApp chatbots become really important for a customer support standpoint. The second thing being, unlike web-based chatbots, WhatsApp sits in every customer's phone, right? So if I have interacted with any person or any business earlier, it sits in my WhatsApp already, right? So it becomes super easy for me to just open up my WhatsApp, search for that business that I interacted with, and start off the conversation from there. With the web-based chatbots, it was discovery was a problem earlier because you had to either go on their website uh, to interact with the chatbot, or you'd have to somehow figure out. With WhatsApp, the discovery or the re-engagement part becomes really straightforward. And this is where just summing it up as to how WhatsApp chatbots definitely make sense from a customer support automation standpoint. I'm going to quickly run through because I think how much we're doing bad on time. It's almost 25 minutes into the webinar, so I'm just quickly going to run through the use cases really quickly, because there's not, like, it's just a lot of it is just common sense as to how you should be using WhatsApp chatbots, right? The second is customer acquisition and lead generation. Um, right now, how the customer acquisition really happens is through websites, or you must be running paid campaigns, organic traffic, or really paid campaigns. And or maybe you must be doing SMS campaigns, email campaigns, right? And what we generally do is uh, people are uh, after you send an SMS, right? It would have a link to a landing page in there. Or if you're doing Google ad campaigns, you'd be taking people to a landing page which would look pretty much something similar to this, right? Now, I don't personally like filling out forms, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys out here wouldn't want to fill out, especially a form like this. and that too on a mobile device, right? They are unengaging for sure, unoptimized for mobile, because just look at this interface, right? It was built for a desktop device, and then it was just copied and just squeezed in for a mobile interface, right? The end result is a low conversion rate. Compared this to a WhatsApp chatbot, how you could be doing, and we'll talk about in the end of the webinar, we'll talk about how do you really get people to a WhatsApp chatbot. But then, suppose if you want someone to apply for, for a loan, or if you've got a travel company and you want to people to book a package through you, right? Or if you've got a healthcare organization or a healthcare institution, you want people to book appointments with you, all of this can be simply done through a WhatsApp conversation, right? It's engaging, it's intuitive for sure. It's right again, like the biggest superpower of WhatsApp is you've got 1.6 like it depends on your target segment, but you've got pretty much almost everyone that you might have in your target segment is on WhatsApp. So it's not like they are not using a medium that you like. If you're doing email marketing, not everyone has an email. Nobody checks their emails. It goes to spam, right? That's not the thing with WhatsApp, at least at this point of time, as long as you use it the right way. We're getting some Q&A I can see in here, but let's just go through the webinar and then we'll do the Q&A. So just summing it up again, the end reason or the primary reason why you should be using WhatsApp chatbots comes down to, it's very much optimized for mobile. Retargeting or re-engagement with your customers is going to be super high because the app is right there in their phone. And you can even do a notification once someone is engaged after that, right? If to just retarget the same user, it's got a high conversion rate again, right? Now, this point, which is the improving the ads conversion rate and retargeting, is very much connected to the last one because it's essentially lead generation or customer acquisition again. But I wanted to talk about this as a use case because a lot of you might not be using this right now. So this is what you can literally do with WhatsApp as the target destination or from an ad, right? If you're running a Facebook ad right now, and I was talking to someone yesterday who does this or WhatsApp API as a business, and they were like, our the primary way or one of the heavy users or most heavy use case has been driving people into a WhatsApp chatbot for customer acquisition. That has been like doing crazily well because the open rates or the engagement rates are through the roof, right? If someone lands in here, they're definitely going to talk to you. What really happens on traditional landing pages is you click on an ad, you land on the next landing page, and you just drop off, right? So you've already spent a lot of money to drive people to those landing pages, and nobody really even interacts with them. So again, it's pretty much similar. It's the same lead gen stuff that I told about a couple of slides back, same stuff. I also talked about easy retargeting, and easy retargeting is actually connected a lot to the audience, building your own audience, because think about it, right? Right now you run a Google ad. You run a Google ad. I suppose you're running a Google ad for car insurance. I am a user. I go into Google search, type in car insurance, see your ad, go there and enter in my details. I enter some details and then I just drop off, right? There's like, you can retarget me through emails, or if I give in my phone number, you will retarget me through SMS, or you might even just run a retargeted Google ad on me, right? Those are all the channels that exist right now. But at this point of time, it's as simple as you take them to a WhatsApp. Even if I say hi, first up, you've got my contact details. That is one, right? Which is from a business perspective, it's good. But the second thing being, you can easily retarget me. Like you can send me a notification at a later point of time, maybe after a week, after a two-week thing, and try to re-engage me, right? And the third thing being, you actually create your own audience. You don't have to depend. It basically becomes an own audience channel, just like your email newsletter, right? Your email list, your newsletter list is yours, right? You don't have to keep recreating it. If you're just dependent on Google ads or Facebook ads to keep driving even the same audience back, it's just spending more money on those channels, right? This is your own audience, and you can just keep re-engaging them through WhatsApp. Book more appointments. Again, it's pretty much connected to lead generation, but still wanted to talk about it because this is the use. Like you would think about lead generation, but you might not think about, okay, can I go an extra step and actually get someone to book a meeting or book a demo, book an appointment with me goes a lot for all the B2C industries out there, right? You have to book an appointment with a doctor, or you have to, if you're a real estate company, you would be doing site visits and you want people to book a time with you, because if someone books a time, that means that they are a really, really warm lead than someone just sharing the email with you. The traditional mediums have been, we all know, email scheduling, like you go back and forth scheduling time with someone, you call them up, try to ask, for instance, if you just get a lead, you'll drop them an email, can we speak? And then you might give them a call and try to fix a time as well, but it's just time consuming. If someone is already in that phase where they're interested in speaking with you, why not just schedule the the appointment right away, which is what's happening here. Um, Obviously this is not the exact demo of how it would work, but basically what is going to happen, just like our web-based chatbots, if you've already used our platform and our web-based chatbots, you can already do appointment booking with a Google Calendar integration within TARS web-based chatbots. And the same thing we're bringing to WhatsApp chatbots as well, where you can literally book these demos or book these meetings with people, right? The I don't have to really go into the details of what's the pros of having WhatsApp as a channel, because it's just pure repetition. There's no time commitment, no stress, and they are informed, so people don't feel like they're really boring. So just talking it again, I'm just quickly running through the use cases, and then I really want to jump into the how part, because that I know you guys are much more interested in that. The other thing is, like when you talk about chatbots, a lot of people talk about quiz-based chatbots, and quiz is just a medium, but how it can be used is to quiz has been, like, in the marketing world, quiz has been such a good lead magnet, right? You have all sorts of quizzes just to drive people for an engagement, and then you do the lead generation, right? The same thing goes if you have got a big organization and you want to engage your existing employees. Quizzes work remarkably well, right? This is how it has been. Like, you must have gone through one of those quizzes on BuzzFeed in the past, right? Boring, not. I mean, they're not bad, but obviously there could be a better interface, I'm saying. And then employee engagement, user surveys, lead gen. You could be creating quizzes. You must have used quizzes in the past. What you can really do is you can create or gamify the entire approach using uh, quizzes over a WhatsApp chatbot, right? Because you have to change your lead gen or lead or marketing game as well, right? You cannot just reach out to them and say, please share your phone number, please share your email. That thing doesn't work in today's world, right? If you're a financial services company and you have to suppose, let me take an example, right? If you have to sell insurance at this point of time, right? You cannot just tell me, okay, do you need health insurance? And go here and fill out the form, right? I'd be definitely curious as to why is it really important. So can you send me a quiz which makes me realize as to why do I really need to buy health insurance in the first place? Can you tell me why do I need to buy auto insurance? Why should I go for any product that you're selling? Like, if you're a travel company, for instance, you might want to have a very a quiz which sort of instigates me to actually travel to a certain place, right? So it becomes a very good medium to just a good stimulus in a way to just get your audience engaged. And with this, I think we're into the final section, which is the most important section, is how you can really get started with a WhatsApp chatbot if you are an existing user. We're going to talk about both the conditions. If you are an existing user of TARS, you would know pretty much most of the stuff in here, and you would only care about the last piece. But if you are new to the chatbot space, or you're even new to the TARS chatbot platform, we're going to run you through the entire bit. So, two parts to it in terms of getting started with a WhatsApp chatbot. So unlike the web-based space where all you had to do was create the entire conversation flow, create the entire logic in a chatbot builder and just get it started with a web-based chatbot, in the space of WhatsApp chatbot, the first key requirement is to have a WhatsApp business API approval. So think of it as a way that you need basically divide it into just two steps, and this step doesn't have to be one after the other. This these two steps would be happening in parallel. And I'll go into the details of each of these points, the first one and the second one. But just to be as clear as possible, there are two major steps. First is a business API approval, which is something we are also dependent on, and we'll be helping you through the entire process, but we are also dependent on WhatsApp team to approve a particular number, right? And the second thing is very much under our control, which is helping you with the chatbot conversation flow. So jumping into the first bit, which is essentially getting a WhatsApp API approval, right? First, a few questions that I get on every call. How much time does it take? Is there a success rate to getting your businesses approved? Third is there sort of a restriction in terms of what industries are not allowed? And how do I go about this? Right? Those are the four pretty much the mediums, right? Now, how does the WhatsApp API ecosystem really work, right? So at the top of the hierarchy is WhatsApp, which is going to finally allow if you're going to get a WhatsApp business API or not. Below that is your solution providers, people like ours, or there are a good number of solution providers out there, Twilio being one, right? So if you already work with a certain API provider already for your SMSs or for something else, we can even integrate with those guys. You don't really have to just get business API through us directly. If you already we would obviously help you with the process, but you could use pretty much any API WhatsApp API solution provider out there. It takes about, I'm taking a buffer of 2 to 3 weeks. It should be done within a 2 week span, but we still, because it's human dependent process, take a time of 2 to 3 weeks, which it takes to get your business API verified. It's a simple process. It's a two-step process. First is your brand approval, and then so your number approval. They'll ask you simple questions as to which industry are you in, where is your headquarter, what sort of customers do you target, all of these questions, right? What's your scale, and then it'll be the second step would be you'd be getting you'll have to enter your Facebook manager ID. All of those, like it's a very mechanical process. We can run you through the process. Once you show an interest, reach out to our team and we'll help you through the entire process. But just wanted to give you a sense of the fact that it's a very manual process, it's a very mechanical process, and it just takes time. In terms of, so some of the industries, WhatsApp, in most of the cases, they would just allow of you to show them the right thing. But some other industries like gambling, betting, are obviously not allowed on the WhatsApp ecosystem at this point of time, and they do not accept those requests. Apart from that, most of the businesses would be able to get their business APIs. So for instance, I can talk about us when we had started developing the entire WhatsApp chatbot. Like we were able to get the entire thing for our business within a couple of weeks span. So it's not rocket science. It's just a mechanical process that all of us have to get through. Now, the second part of the process is actually building the chatbot conversation flow. So while we are helping you with this process of getting the API approved, the other thing that will happen in parallel is building the chatbot conversation flow, or building the entire workflow of the chatbot, building the entire conversation design inside the TARS chatbot platform. And I'm going to run you through the demo of how it works. And if you guys have already, I'm just going to click on it so that it opens up. Oh, okay, I already have it open in my screen. So you guys, and I'm just, let me know if you can see my browser.
We can see your browser.
Right. So if you guys haven't seen something like this before, this is essentially our chatbot builder. Any chatbot that's built on our platform is you have to build it here. Just to give you a quick context, if you go on our website and just click on this sign up thing on the top right, you'll be able to sign up or have an account with us. Most of looking at the names, you guys already have an account with us, so you would obviously relate to this interface. But if you haven't seen our chatbot platform before, you just have to click on sign up on TARS.com, and you would basically come across an interface very similar to this. You just have to hit on create a chatbot, and you would see a screen like this. Now, I didn't want to spend time building the entire conversation flow during the webinar. So what I've done is there's we already have the entire chatbot flow built in. But I'm still going to spend the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes explaining a bit about how the platform works, how it looks like, and then get into how to get into the WhatsApp chatbots. So, like you can see, this is sort of a decision tree, sort of a workflow, sort of a flow chart of how your conversation is built in. Each of these blocks that you see in here, it's basically a back and forth between the bot and the user. We call it a gambit. So you hit add a gambit and you'll be able to add new gambits. If I click on each of these blocks, um, you would see this model where you can define every. So this is a question and this is an answer from the user. So think of it this way: a back and forth. You asking a question, the user responding to it. That's basically one gambit, and that's what you're doing here. What you see in here um, is the question the bot is asking, and what and you can keep adding more message bubbles in here. You can add images, like you can just click on this and you can add images in here. You can add gifs, you can add videos in here. You can do all of that stuff, right? But essentially, it's these are the message bubbles that you would see in the eventual chatbot. And this is where, so it's not just open-ended text, right? Like it's not just I say hi, how are you, and you say I'm good, right? It's not really just open-ended text. You would have more than 10, 15 different ways of how you can collect user inputs, and we've tried to do this. It's a mix of a graphical user interface and text based user interface. Graphical based user interface meaning there are buttons, there are cards. If you're collecting feedback, there'll be star rating. If you're asking someone to book a meeting with you, there'll be calendar and time, there'll be dates for times for all of those things, right? You can ask people to upload files and all of those things, even their location with a Google Map integration, right? So this is bot, this is the user. You add those buttons, and I can keep adding more buttons as well in here. And what you would see is there's a branching option in here. So I clicked on this one and then hit save. I'm not going to hit save because I just added random buttons in here. So if I hit cancel, you would see 3 branches come out of it. Depending on what someone is choosing, you take them on a particular branch. If someone says yes, they're interested, we take them here. You have an image added here, same stuff, right? And you say, okay, do you want to try it out for free? There are buttons in there, and then I think in the next step we're saying, if someone says yes, we're directly taking them. This is a very simple flow, and believe me, don't feel like you can only build simple flows which are very structured and all of those things. Um, People, our customers have made bots which have more than 200 gambits here. You can have NLP integrations and all of those things, all of that. But I just want to show you something very simple so that you can easily relate to it. If someone says yes, you collect their email and you can have email validations and stuff like that. And then you just ask for that. It's a simple lead generation workflow that I have got defined in here, right? Now, after you are done in the usual workflow and in the usual web-based space, once you build out it's the make section. In your make section, you build out the entire chatbot flow. And the next thing that you generally do is hit this publish, and your chatbot is live, right? Which is still going to happen. I can still go on this chatbot and it will still run in my web-based interface, right? That is still going to happen. Now, to make this thing up and running on your WhatsApp, all you have to do is, I can go into these configure and the design sections as well, but I'm not really going to go into it. I'm just going to focus on WhatsApp chatbots for now. There's a lot of configurations and settings that you can do in terms of making your chatbot better. But for now, once you've made the entire chatbot flow, the next step is going to be just going in your distribute section. You will see this new thing in there. Like till now, you only had these 3 ways. Use it as a chatbot link, use it as a widget on your website, and then you can have it on your own domain as well. Now you're going to see a new interface in here, which is having this same chatbot up and running on your WhatsApp. Now, just like I explained, you could go through multiple API providers to get your WhatsApp business API. And that's why we are going to give you different, like you can just select from a dropdown, like you would only see Twilio right now, but we'll keep adding more depending on what all customers come to us. We'll try to add more and more API providers. But the simple step after you've made your conversation flow inside the TARS chatbot platform is select the API provider from here. And that's going to happen after you have gone through this particular process, right? Once you get the WhatsApp API, you would have a number which is up and running and which is basically verified. All you have to do is just enter in the number in here, and these are basically depending on what API provider you are using. There'll be an auth token, there'll be an account SID. These are like copy paste from their interface, and this is something we can help you out with. And we'll also write like we've even given a Twilio.console where you can just log in and just get it, right? We'll anyways be publishing help docs around how you can even do this, because again, this is a very mechanical thing. Now, this is already a WhatsApp chatbot that is deployed on our business number, and I'll now show you run into the demo of this entire chatbot. How does it really work inside that? And but one thing you need to understand if you've been an existing customer of TARS is whatever you were doing in the web-based chatbot space, right? Which basically means you had buttons, you had cars, you had star rating. All of that is just going to work the way it has been. There's literally no change. You were doing OTP integrations, you were doing SMS, like you were doing CRM integrations, you were doing API integrations with your backend. Everything would work the same way it has been. You have this API thing in here. You must be using it for OTP integrations and your CRM integrations. It will just work the way it has been. There's no change, and that's what we really wanted. We wanted to make it so damn simple for people that it's just about copy pasting the number in our platform. It's everything else remains the same, no difference at all. Same thing that was working on your web is going to work in your WhatsApp. It's just about copy pasting a simple business number that you've got, and that's it, right? Now, once you've done that, obviously you have to hit publish, which I've already done. So I'm gonna run into. I have my WhatsApp open, so I'm just put it settings because a lot of family groups in there, right? So, so I've got a good DP as well. It was a bad DP, so I changed my DP just before the webinar. But all you have to do at this point of time is, let me see. Like, all I have to say is hi. I just deleted the entire chat before this, so let me see if I hit hi. Does it start from the first message, or was I already in the conversation? Yes. So I was already in the conversation, so it's starting from the last step. But what you can really do at any point of time, you can type restart to initiate the conversation from the first gambit, which is where the conversation starts, right? So these are neat shortcuts we'll make for your end users as well. Slash restart slash something, so that you can take them to a particular step in the conversation. Slash restart basically helps you restart the entire conversation from the first flow. So I just have to say hi again. I can say hello, whatever it is, right? I go in here and basically it starts from the first gambit that you see in here, right? It's the same gambit. Now in here, I could say one, I could say yes, I could say hell yeah. So it's doing a keyword based matching on what I say, or it's based on the numbers as well, right? I could say numbers. So you would see a change in a web-based version versus a a WhatsApp-based version. There's no buttons in here, right? So we had to adapt the entire user interface that we had for web-based chatbots into a WhatsApp environment, right? So instead of buttons, you will see these bulleted options here, 1, 2, or 3, right? Suppose I say first one, which is this one, right? It'll say, well, then you're in the right place, and our conversation, you want to try it for free, this, right? And then this is essentially after this is pressed, it goes here, and this is the exact conversation that is. Now, as your users are talking to the chatbot, and you can literally go on this chatbot right now and speak with it. It's a live chatbot. How do I get this? Is the number. You should save this number in your phone and just say hi to it. You'll be able to have the same interaction. But what it is going to come down to is when your users are having a conversation, when your users start using your chatbot, you would start seeing all of these interactions in the data view section like it has been always in the past, right? And this becomes an omni-channel because the same chatbot could be running on different channels, right? It's still going to be running on your web-based chatbot, and you can use the same chatbot on your WhatsApp as well. The thing that you'd see is it captures the WhatsApp number by default. As soon as someone says hi or whatever they say, it captures the user number right away. And then it's, again, you're going to see this conversation, like this data being captured at any point of time. So if I go back in here and I say, I want to say yes in here, right? It's going to go back, and if I refresh the data, you're going to see that I said yes. The default option was this, but I said yes, right? So it's even showing this was the thing that you specified, but what did the user say? Did the user say one? Did the user say yes? Because this is going to help you see what are my users really typing. Are they okay with one, or would they type text-based language? Or what are they really okay with, right? And I can go back here. It's asking me for my email because that was a part of the flow. And okay, let me actually see. I want to show you one more cool thing. So I'll just enter it here and then start, obviously, capturing my email. Now, the other cool feature that I want to show you guys is you can change the chatbot flow in real time, just like your web-based chatbots. If you've not used the platform, that's a different thing. But what really used to happen is if I go back here and literally change anything on any gambit and hit publish, my WhatsApp chatbot conversation would just get reset. Okay, at any point in time. I don't. If, for instance, if I am on this particular gambit right now, which is my, I don't know why we even have the phone number gambit in here. We should just remove it. But for instance, in the thanks one, for instance, there's an image here right now, or maybe say thanks for scheduling the call. Um, with me, I've sent an email confirmation to this. I'll catch you later. So instead of this, you could say, I'm just going to change the flow a bit, and I'm going to add thanks for scheduling the call with me, and trying to make it bold, and just hit save. A very small change. And then after that, I'm going to hit publish, right? And then I'm going to go back. So this is a conversation which is already in progress. But what you're going to see is the conversation would get changed on the fly with the new thing that I've built. Let's hope it happened. But yes, it did happen. This one I just added right now. The flow was different when I had started the conversation. I made this change while on the on being. I was already having a conversation, and I went back and made this change, and it's just reflected. So it's going to be again super simple. Like, think about this, right? All you have to do at this point of time is get a WhatsApp business number, make the flow, enter in your number, and you'll be up and running on a WhatsApp chat. So all of those, if you've heard WhatsApp chatbots has been super tough to get into, how do you really want to make a WhatsApp chatbot? Like, those are things of the past. I would say we've tried to make it super easy, super cool. All you have to do is just make the chatbot and uh, add your business number in there, and you'll be up and running. Literally, let's just think about it, right? It makes it super, super easy to just get started with a chatbot. You can have multiple business numbers, multiple chatbots running, whatever it is, right? You don't have to depend on any solution provider. Like, you don't have to depend on us to make these bots, right? You can literally just keep churning out more and more bots. You can go back, make changes to it. No, no BRDs, no business requirement docs to be shared with your web dev shops out there, with your uh, tech teams, outsourced tech teams and stuff like that to make WhatsApp chatbots, right? It's all in there. We are all marketing guys. We are all customer experience guys, right? We know how to. If you can write an email, you can pretty much use our platform, right? So I think that's pretty much covers most of the stuff, right? And once you're getting data, you've been sending your data. So I see people chatting with the bot right now, right? So that's good. So all what it's going to come down to, yeah. So after you start collecting your data, just like you've been sending this data to your third-party applications like a Salesforce or a HubSpot or your email marketing tools or your any tool out there, right? Everything would work the same way. Nothing really changes. The analyze section would work like it has been. How many conversations? Nothing really changes. We'll see a timeline graph, all of those things, right? So it really becomes an omni channel for you. Use it on your web-based thing. Use it on your website. The same chatbot you can use inside your WhatsApp as well. Arnav, did I miss anything or anything you would want to cover?
No, I think you covered it. As someone who does content marketing at TARS, though, I'm going to use that line which you just said about if you can write an email, you can create a chatbot in our platform. It's absolutely true.
Right. So jumping, I'll just quickly, it's almost been 55 minutes into this. I'm just quickly going to go back and show you, like, once you've made the chatbot, like a lot of people in the web-based chatbot, era don't know how to use or where to even get users on your chatbot, right? So we've just made it, like, we've just put in four pointers in here, but I can literally think of 5, 6 more on the go, right? So there's no limit to how you can do that, but these are like just the starting place, right? So you just share, just like I share this number with you right now. You can just ask your customers to say hi on a particular number. You could be sending them an email marketing, or you could send them an SMS which says, instead of sending them an SMS which has a link to your landing page, just say, talk, chat with us, and this chat with us would open their WhatsApp, and it'll be a predefined message which says hello or something like that, and initiate a WhatsApp conversation. The other one is, if you already have good number of people coming on your website, you could have a WhatsApp chat widget. Again, it's all about how can you get more visibility on your WhatsApp chatbot, right? So hit this start chat, opens up your WhatsApp again, and this is how it works. Again, it's just driving more people into the WhatsApp chatbot. Third thing being Facebook ads, just like I showed you on I think the initial part of this webinar. You're running Facebook ads, you're running Google ads, drive people right into your WhatsApp chatbot. If you are a brick and mortar store, a retail store, you've got a physical presence, people are coming to your store, you can even drive it through a QR code. But honestly, there's no limit to how you can. This is about marketing, right? You've opened up a new channel to interact with your customers. How can you get more users onto it? Make it a part of your email signatures, right? The entire company can have it in their email signatures saying chat with us on WhatsApp, right? It's as simple as that. So think of it as just distributing any other channel like you've done in the past to interact with your customers. And yeah, that's pretty much, I think, pretty much the end of our webinar.
Yep.
You can, this is my direct number. You can reach out to me, SMS me, WhatsApp me. This is my email. This is our website. You can go on our website and even schedule a demo through there. Or this is a direct link. Just hit it. Just let me show you this as well. You just click on this one, and okay, just click, and this is something we'll share on the chat as well. If we share it on the chat, but just go on this particular link if you're interested. Just book a demo with us. It'll book a demo with me, so me or someone from my team would showcase you the entire platform and all of those things. Just book a demo with us, and we can show you how to get started, show you the entire platform again, and understand your use cases as well.